All right, we are live. Good evening and welcome to our first 2024 Legislative Priorities meeting. I hope that everyone had a joyous holiday, and if not a restful interim, at least a fruitful one. We got a recording message again. So let me start again, just in case it's not on the public record. Good evening. Welcome everyone to our first of our 2024 Legislative Priorities meeting. I am Delegate Heather Bagnall, Chair of the delegation, with Vice Chair Delegate Dana Jones. Before we conduct further introductions, I would ask everyone to welcome Delegate Sandy Bartlett, District 32, and newly minted Vice Chair of Judiciary, who will be offering our pledge and our prayer today.
Good evening, everyone. Please stand and please mute your phones or your devices. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Chair, would you like for me to proceed with the prayer?
Yes, please, Delegate.
Okay, and I will include in my prayer that we will have in-person meetings sometime in the year of 2024. Please join me in a moment of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for what you have brought to us in the year 2023. As we bring this year to a close, we have had many blessings. We have had losses, we have had trials, but we have mostly had blessings. We pray for our loved ones at home and abroad. We thank you for our military who defend us every day, those we know and those we do not know. Please continue to keep them safe. We pray that tonight's meeting is blessed by your hand with love and civility. We also pray, dear Lord, for the upcoming session and all that it brings, the joy, the trials, the victories, and the understandings and the growth. We pray for all the blessings of all my colleagues in the delegation, and we pray that sometime soon we are able to have in-person meetings. Amen.
Amen, and agreed. As a reminder to everyone, since it's been a while, tonight we will be electing our delegation leadership for the 2024 session. Delegation will be going over delegation protocols, and then we'll have presentations from our community organizations. Also, as a reminder to our delegation, please be sure to turn your camera on for voting and remain muted when not speaking to avoid any background noise. Only members and council should be on camera, and we will have staff support in the meeting, but they will keep their cameras off to avoid any confusion by the public. So at this time, I will go ahead and turn the virtual gavel over to my Vice Chair, Delegate Dana Jones.
Thank you so much, Delegate Bagnall. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for joining us, those who are tuning in. Just before we kick things off, we wanted to let everybody know that we have conferred with the delegation council earlier, and we do not need to adopt the bylaws until our first meeting of session. So I would like to proceed with elections. Mr. Secretary, do we have quorum?
Say again, I didn't hear.
Do we have quorum, sir?
Yes, we do.
Excellent. At this time, I will open up the nominations for chair of the delegation. Delegate Andrew Pruski, please.
Yes, good evening. I'd like to nominate Delegate Heather Bagnall for chair of the delegation.
Delegate Mary Lehman, please.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. I would like to second the nomination of Heather Bagnall for chair.
Do we have any further discussion? Mr. Secretary, can you call the roll?
Vice Chair Jones, how do you vote?
Yes.
Delegate Barnes,
Yes.
Delegate Bartlett,
Yes.
Delegate Chang,
Yes.
Delegate Chisholm,
Yes.
Delegate Henson,
Yes.
Delegate Howard,
Yes.
Delegate Kipke,
Yes.
Delegate Lehman,
Yes.
Delegate Munoz, Delegate Pena Melnick,
Yes.
Delegate Pruski,
Yes.
Delegate Rogers,
Yes.
Delegate Smith,
Yes.
Delegate Simmons,
Yes.
Chairman Bagnall.
Yes, thank you.
By a vote of 15-0 with one absent, that passes.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Congratulations at this time. I will hand the virtual gavel over to our chair, Chair Bagnall.
Thank you very much, Madam Vice Chair, and thank you to the delegation. At this time, I would like to open up the nominations for Vice Chair of the delegation. Recognizing Delegate Chang.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I'd like to nominate Delegate Dana Jones as the Vice Chair of the Anne Arundel County Delegation.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Delegate Chang. Do we have a second? Oh, Delegate Bartlett.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I second the nomination for Delegate Dana Jones for Vice Chair of the Anne Arundel County Delegation.
Thank you very much, Delegate Bartlett. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Secretary, if you could call the roll.
Vice Chair Jones,
Yes.
Delegate Barnes,
Yes.
Delegate Bartlett,
Yes.
Delegate Chang,
Yes.
Delegate Chisholm,
Yes.
Delegate Henson,
Yes.
Delegate Howard,
Yes.
Delegate Kipke,
Yes.
Delegate Lehman,
Yes.
Delegate Munoz, Delegate Pena Melnick,
Yes.
Delegate Pruski,
Yes.
Delegate Rogers,
Yes.
Delegate Smith,
Yes.
Delegate Simmons,
Yes.
Chairman Bagnall.
Yes.
By a vote of 15-0 with one absent, that vote is in the positive.
Thank you very much. Congratulations to our Vice Chair and thank you all very much for the honor of continuing to lead this esteemed body. I do not take this for granted. At this point, I would like to also welcome our senators, Senator Dawn Guile from District 33, Senator Pam Beidel, newly minted Chair of Finance, District 32, and also Senator Dawn Guile is the Chair of the Senate delegation, I should say. Senator Brian Simonaire from District 31, Senator Sarah Elfreth from District 30, Senator Jim Rosapet from District 21, and Senator Clarence Lamb from District 12. I also want to recognize our counsel, Matt Carpenter, our delegation secretary, Roger Massey, my chief of staff, Rory Nolan, and Josh Paper, chief of staff to Vice Chair Jones, who are providing our technical support for the meeting. As a reminder to the public, our delegation meetings during session are Fridays at 8:30 a.m. And tonight we will be hearing from a number of our community leaders. As a reminder to the delegation, you can ask questions, but we'll also have time to follow up offline. My Chief of Staff, Rory Nolan, and Josh Paper, Chief of Staff to Vice Chair Jones, who are providing. As a reminder to the public, our delegation meetings during session are. And as a reminder to everyone, if you are not presenting, please go ahead and mute yourself. So all of our LBIs, our legislative bond initiatives, our presenters will have 2 minutes. To our members and the public at large, we will also have another opportunity to present legislative priorities from any organizations which did not make tonight's meeting on January the 5th. We will have details coming up. And at that time, we would ask all projects be in so that we can keep our delegation meetings during session to a tighter 50 minutes. With that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump around the schedule a little bit, Rory, so don't be concerned, because I want to also acknowledge that some of our senators have other commitments tonight. So I know that Senator Beidle is here to introduce the Baltimore Washington Medical Center with Diane Krogan. So Senator Beidle, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Thank you very much, Chair Bagnall. Thank you all for being here tonight. Actually, I'm going to introduce the president of University of Maryland, Kathy McCollum, and she's going to talk about a project that we've actually worked on for a couple of years, and it's an additional cath lab for Baltimore Washington Medical Center. And last year, we were able to give them $350,000 due to planning and engineering. It's a $10 million project, and they were only looking to us for $2 million. So they've really done their work to raise the money. So President Kathy McCollum, if you'd like to give your 2 minutes, we'd love to hear from you.
Great. Can you just give me a thumbs up that you can hear me? Perfect. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, senators and delegates. I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. I'll be very brief. As Pam said, I'm the president and CEO of the University of Maryland, Baltimore Washington Medical Center, and thank you for having me this evening to present what we believe is a really important project for our community. We are looking for, as Pam nicely teed it up for me, Senator Beidle teed it up for me, a partial funding of a $10 million capital project that would modernize our cardiology department, which includes our procedural areas for cardiac catheterization. So let me first start by saying that we are steadfastly committed to education, outreach, and prevention efforts to focus on decreasing the burden of cardiovascular disease in our community. It is the leading cause of death in Anne Arundel County, and certainly our geography is significantly impacted by it. But the fact is, we continue to see this as a significant cause of morbidity and mortality in our community, and that is only growing despite all of our efforts related to prevention, education, and outreach. And as such, we are seeing an increased demand for both the diagnostic services of our cardiology and cardiac cath labs, as well as the interventional procedural treatments that, quite honestly, are intended to save lives as we go in and open up those arteries and restore blood flow to the heart and to the brain. We actually at BWMC also see a disproportionately high number of emergent and urgent procedures coming via EMS to our cath lab, largely due to our geography. As you well know, we are located on major thoroughfares, and so we do see a significant number of EMS trips to BWMC. So our current cardiac cath labs are operating at capacity. The older of our two labs is over 15 years old. And if approved, this funding request for the new lab and renovations would allow us to not only increase our capacity, but provide more advanced imaging technology and diagnostic equipment. I think you all have a one-page summary of the project that more specifically defines our community, our service area, the disease burden, and what this project is intended to accomplish. And I am grateful for the opportunity to present this project, and look forward to hopefully getting your support for it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I wanted to open up to any questions. Well, thank you very much, Ms. McCollum. It appears that you have answered all our questions, and I'm sure we'll have more going forward. But thank you for being here tonight, and thank you, Senator Beidle. Senator Elfreth also wanted to present some of our legislative bond initiatives. So, Senator, do you want to introduce? Go ahead and introduce the Eastport Volunteer Fire Company.
Chair Bagnall, I'm happy to. I'm also going to be here through the whole meeting, so we don't need to skip ahead on the agenda if it's just for me.
Okay.
Whatever works best for the group.
That, no problem. I think Esport's probably teed up
Okay.
because I announced them.
Okay.
But we'll jump around a little bit. Thanks.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Chair Bagnall, and thank you to everybody. I'll be very brief. We are joined by our Esport volunteer fire department, fire company rather, here in Annapolis. The station itself is utilized by the Annapolis Fire Department, but it is also very much a wonderful community gathering space in the Esport community in Annapolis. They are proposing a memorial garden, which will serve as yet another gathering space for the community, but this time outdoors. Important to note that they came to our delegation last year, but weren't quite ready to execute on this project. So I greatly appreciate them now being shovel ready and having raised significant funds already towards this project. So with that, I believe we're joined by Dallas Lister, who is with our Annapolis Fire Department.
Good evening. Thank you very much, Senator. Basically, the concept of this project was that we wanted to memorialize. There's been 3 firefighters that have died from cancer in the Annapolis Fire Department since my career has begun here. And we wanted to find a way to memorialize them and help to remember their memories, and to also bring some notice to the fact of the firefighters that do die of cancer and putting their lives on the line for people. And as we worked through this project, we've found that we could make the greatest impact by making a common space for the community in Esport and improving that area. So in the presentation that I sent in advance, you see that it's a very busy space with hundreds of kids using the area every day. And so we thought that if we were able to work forward with this and use this place a memorialization of those firefighters that have passed, that also integrate with other people that have become heroes to their community, and also to try to bring a little bit of pride into the community that uses our space all the time. That's pretty much the long and short of it, I think. So.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lister. Did we have any questions from the delegation? Again, I think you knocked it out of the park. And thank you very much for being here. I'm actually going to jump back to Senator Beidel with Chase Your Dreams. I understand that you wanted to also introduce Chase Your Dreams.
Thank you very much. I wasn't really prepared that I was going to be introducing them tonight, but I'm happy to. So Trace Your Dreams and Tunnel Vision do a lot of work in the community. They've done some amazing work in Mead Heights and just in the community in general, helping children, students. And so they have an idea for an apprenticeship program where they would teach manufacturing and monogramming of clothing, which they've been very, very successful as a business. So Kyle Williams is here to tell us more, and I hope that we can support Kyle. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I thank you for taking the time out and allowing me to speak. Thank you, Senator Beidel. My name is Kyle Williams. I'm from the Chase Your Dreams Initiative. Also have Comatel Brown, who's on this call from our team as well. As she shared, our mission with this project is to be able to use our expertise to teach and train students and young adults about the career path in design and manufacturing and textile apparel, and to be able to provide economic impact for Anne Arundel County, but also offer non-traditional trade in addition to what may be offering the students nowadays at Cat North or so forth. What we've been asking for is to be able to supply for the equipment for the 20,000 square space that we have the commitment from Anne Arundel County Executive Steward Pittman and his team. The reason why we're asking for it is to be able to carry out this program. The one thing that we have experience with is we have experience over 10 years doing this. We have contracts with NBA, NFL, NSA, National Security Agency. So this is something that we're very well versed in. We've been doing a tour in and throughout Anne Arundel County and schools in Maryland, where we've been going in teaching schools such as Mead High School, Annapolis, the Phoenix Academy, and more, teaching them about design, the intricate details that goes into apparel design, manufacturing, from textile, from cutting, sourcing fabrics, being able to put them together, and then teaching them how to own and start their own businesses from an e-commerce and branching out. We're hoping that this program, upon completion, students in high school that graduate, we can create jobs for the students right out of high school, for those who want to go on to college to create some non-traditional ways. Other benefits to the program is that we also want to offer some work reentry opportunities for those that are coming back into the work world who may have some less prior offenses. We also want to serve economic impact for the state of Maryland. As we know, there are incentives to bring manufacturing back stateside. Should something happen again like the pandemic, we can be a source that municipalities and organizations can go to be able to supply masks and things like that for hospitals and different opportunities. Also, we think over this program, in over 5 years, we can create 100 jobs for Anne Arundel County in the state of Maryland as well. And also, we would also like to say that it brings tax incentives for the state and Anne Arundel County as well. So that's really what we're looking for. We're hoping to be able to make the impact, like I said, 8,000 square foot space, but we need the funding to be able to secure the equipment needing to carry out this program and to also furnish the space as well. And if Commissaire, if you have anything you would like to share, please do. If you have a moment, but other than that, here's what we're pitching for the Tunnel Vision Visionary Program.
Thank you very much. And I see we have a hand from Delegate Rogers.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And this is less of a question and just more of a comment. And it's really just to express appreciation for all the things that Tunnel Vision and Chase Your Dreams Initiative are doing throughout Anne Arundel County. I've personally witnessed some of the great things they've done in Annapolis, the things they're doing in Meade Village, Pioneer City. I mean, even Thanksgiving Day, they were out there holding a North-South County football championship game. So their impact has really been countywide, and just want to kind of let everyone know about the great things that they've done. So not so much a question as much as is a testimonial, and just to say thank you, Kyle and Commissaire, for all the things you're doing across the county.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And did we have any other questions? Commissaire, I apologize. I think I cut you off because I didn't see you were unmuted.
Yeah, no, I just said Kyle knocked it out the park. I don't think it's more that I can mention.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Senator Elfreth, I'm actually going to take advantage of the fact that you're here.
Okay.
Because I'll be introducing the rest of the LBIs. So I'm going to turn back to you. If you would be so kind and introduce the South County Arts Lab.
Sure. Thank you so much, Chair Bagnall. To the delegation, the South County Arts Lab is a gem in South County, providing artistic space for a couple dozen artists who are also entrepreneurs and small business owners, and truly make South County a vibrant place to live. They are looking for a tiny bit of support. It's probably one of the smallest LBIs we'll be handling this year, to invest in a kiln to help artists who do that type of work find success and have a even greater home in South County. And I believe we have Beth with us tonight to talk about the need for a kiln.
Yes, thank you so much, Senator Elfreth and Delegate Bagnall and everyone else this evening. My name is Beth, as Senator Elfreth said, and I'm the president of Arts Lab of South County. We've recently rebranded and changed our name, but we are still the same creative, communal, and collaborative place, one of a kind in Southern Anne Arundel County. Our mission is to enhance the quality of life in South County by providing an inclusive space where artists and community members come together to make art that is accessible, nurturing, and thrilling. We offer classes in a variety of media, a communal clay program, studio spaces for local artists, a gallery, and many family-friendly and senior adult programming activities. We currently are 70+ members strong. A third of them are in clay and learning at all stages of their ceramic exploration. Today, we're asking for $15,000 to help establish the first outdoor communal wood-fired kiln in Anne Arundel County. The funds will help us acquire materials, hire a master kiln builder, and pay for training from a nationally recognized wood kiln expert to launch our programming. The overall budget for this project is $50,000, and we've already raised about a third of the funds through individual donations, grants, and sponsorships, and additional fundraising is ongoing. Firing a wood kiln is a long process requiring many hands. The resulting clay surface treatments can be achieved with no other method, and they are amazing. Ceramic makers in our area currently travel to Baltimore, Frederick, and even further to Virginia, Massachusetts, or North Carolina and other states to fire their work. Our location, zoned for agro-tourism, is a perfect setting and perfectly convenient for this process. Strategically, the kiln will be a significant contributor to our sustainability. Revenue will come from kiln rental fees, member firing events, and partnership programming with nearby high schools and Arundel Community College. The Chesapeake Arts Center in Brooklyn is another organization we've been in conversation with. Plans are already underway to develop new programming such as classes and workshops on ceramic techniques and artistry relevant to wood firing, and art talks on the history, science, and art of clay that will be free and open to the general public. We're also exploring more partnerships focusing on STEAM concepts and the history and traditions surrounding this ancient firing process with organizations such as Captain Avery Museum and other Chesapeake Crossroads Heritage area organizations. Programmatically, this tool will expand our ability to provide a rich experience for our members and will bring in new members to access a service not available in our region. The kiln will bring artists and collectors from outside the county to participate in the process and enjoy the results. This will bring more visitors to stay in our community and enjoy the services available in South County, as well as the beautiful and historic surroundings. Funding this program will enable Arts Lab to grow and become even more self-sustaining. The wood-fired kiln will put the lab on the map in ways beyond what our other suite of programming have been able to achieve, and we're very excited about the possibilities. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Any questions from the delegation? Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to take a moment and turn it over to my vice chair for this next introduction, which is the Peka Gardens.
Thank you so much, Chairwoman. Tonight, I'm very excited to intro Historic Annapolis and the William Peka Garden, which was built in the 1760s for one of Maryland's 4 signers of the Declaration of Independence and the state's 3rd governor. Tonight, we have a dear friend and wonderful Annapolitan here with us. Karen Brown is on the line, and I will toss it over. I'm so proud to work with her yet again. Karen?
Well, thank you so much, Delegate Jones and Chair Bangle and the remaining delegation and the senators here for being here this evening. I'm very grateful to Vice Chair Jones for her sponsorship of this request. Again, my name is Karen Timer Brown. I'm the president and CEO of Historic Annapolis. And as Delegate Jones said, we are the leading nonprofit preservation and history organization in Annapolis. We've been in place for over 70 years. And we're honored to serve the state of Maryland and its many communities as your partner in the care and public presentation of a dozen state-owned historic architectural treasures. This is a very unique public-private partnership that's been in place for decades. Historic Annapolis is requesting funding support via legislative bond initiative to increase universal access and accessibility in the William Peka Garden. This is one of the state-owned buildings, state properties under our care. And it's comprised of approximately 2 acres of green space in the heart of the state capitol. We welcome over 25,000 visitors each year for tours, for community celebrations and special events. If you haven't been to the garden, I would be delighted to have to introduce you to the space. It is a beautiful reconstructed 18th century garden with a terraced landscape, a central alley and parterres leading to a wilderness, or what we call the bowling green. But since the garden was open to the public 50 years ago, the site has not been fully accessible due to the multiple sets of stairs throughout the garden. And this is something that we've been very intentional about, making all these state assets welcoming and accessible to all and ADA compliant. And we're trying to eliminate any type of inaccessibilities so that all can attend and celebrate this space. This project has been underway for several years, and thus far has been a great example of public-private partnerships where we've leveraged state funds to secure some private philanthropy. This winter and next spring, we're going to be adding ramps to connect some of the terraces to offer an alternative to the stairs for those who require that type of accommodation. Currently, we are seeking additional funding to complete the next phase of work, which is restructuring or resurfacing of the pathways. The pathways through the garden are currently a loose pea gravel, which was really not conducive to wheelchairs or walkers or other types of mobility assistance devices. State funding support will allow us to replace the pea gravel with a stable, more permeable material that is ADA compliant and allows for easier movement. It's like a resin type material that looks like the pea gravel, but is a solid surface. This project is anticipated, this phase of the project is anticipated to cost about $171,000. We've secured so far about 10%, and we're continuing to seek private philanthropy to leverage state investment. And at this point, I'm asking for your support for a $75,000 LBI to help fund approximately half of the funds that are needed for this phase of the construction. And again, it is our goal as a state asset and as a partner with the state of Maryland to ensure that the William Pica House and the garden is a welcoming space for all who come to visit, and for these universal accessibility improvements to keep this landmark site functioning as a contributing resource in the Colonial Annapolis Historic Landmark District and part of the vibrant economy in Maryland's capital city. We are getting ready to celebrate our 50-year anniversary of the garden. And so this is, again, very timely that, again, we want to make it as accessible and inclusive for all as much as we can. Thank you very much for your consideration. And again, thank you, Delegate Jones, for your sponsorship.
Thank you very much. Let's see, Delegate Howard.
Thank you, Chair. Was my understanding that Annapolis Historical Society was in the budget, that funding for historical buildings was in the budget. I distinctly remember about 7 or 8 years ago, then Delegate McMillan and I making sure Annapolis Area Historical Society was included as a line item in the budget. Can we look at that?
Yes, we can. Thank you. Thank you, Delegate Howard, for bringing that up. And that's definitely something that we can consider as we have the time. We have the luxury of time. So thank you so much.
Sure, absolutely. But it's definitely worthwhile. I go to the Pack House all the time. I enjoy it all the time. That Bourbon Blazers and Cigars, I've been a silver sponsor of that event for about the past 10 years. And but I distinctly remember, like I said, myself and then Delegate McMillan and I making sure that because we were really kind of appalled that the Historical Society had to come every year and sort of ask for money to maintain these historical buildings, which are truly a treasure of Maryland and really kind of belong to the people. So I'm pretty sure it's in the budget.
Ms. Brown, what we have you here is this is a specific request for ADA compliance. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay.
So this is one component of it. So yes, Delegate Howard, we do receive some state funding for the ongoing care and maintenance and management of those properties. This is for a specific project for LBI for ADA accessibility for that garden.
Okay, so that would be bifurcated out from the historical maintenance of the facility then.
I think that's the answer. We can further determine offline, but I think that's the distinction, is that the funding that you're speaking to is for the care and maintenance of the building, and this is for a specific project to bring it up to ADA.
Yeah, let's check that out, but definitely worthwhile. So okay, thank you.
Absolutely. And I'm hearing from a lot of these presentations, potential delegation tours as well. So thank you all very much. Before I turn it over to Senator Elfreth for the next presentation, I just wanted to mention to all of our presenters, you are welcome to stay for this meeting, but you are not expected to stay if you have already presented. Don't feel like you are hurting our feelings or harming your efforts. We appreciate you being here, and we know that your time is also sensitive. So we take no offense if you feel the need to leave. With that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Senator Elfreth to introduce Marilyn Hall.
Thank you so much, Chair Bagnall. Again, Marilyn Hall, a gem of not just Annapolis, but really a hub of the arts community for all of Anne Arundel County. Folks know this is the former Annapolis High School that, under former Speaker Mike Bush's leadership, has been transformed into one of the best community spaces we have in the county. They were last in the budget in 2019 for an HVAC project. obviously a lot of our nonprofits suffered greatly under the pandemic, so that project never actually came to fruition. They have since been very busy with the new executive director, who I'm really thrilled everybody gets to meet tonight, Jackie Coleman, and they have been very busy raising private funds towards that project that they last brought to us in 2019, and they are now seeking the last bit of the delta to make it happen after privately fundraising the rest of it. So, Jackie.
Thank you so much, Senator Elfreth. Thank you all for your time this evening, for being able to present this project to you. I'm Jackie Coleman, as Senator Elfreth said. I'm with Maryland Hall for the Creative Arts, and if you would like to include Maryland Hall on your delegation tour, doors are always open. We have amazing exhibits and performances all the time. So this project that we are looking at is anticipated to be a $5 million project, of which we have raised almost $4 million. So we are looking to request the final bit to get us over the back line so that we can get this project done. It's a two-part project, both of which are very important, but maybe not so visible to the audience's eye when they come in, like some of our former capital campaign projects that was like changing the seats in the auditorium. This one is, as Senator Elfreth mentioned, HVAC. So two-part. First part is HVAC. The heating and air conditioning, very old system. The heating system has been there since 1932, the boiler system. We're regularly turning air conditioners on in the dead of winter because the heat is so hot, which is not energy efficient. It's noisy. It causes a lot of disruption for classes and events and patrons. So it would literally touch every single person that comes into Maryland Hall to get those 54 air conditioners that are room air conditioners out of our windows and get more environmentally sustainable and appropriate heating and ductwork throughout the building. The other piece of the project is Bowen Theater upgrade. So we have 2 theater spaces at Maryland Hall. The Bowen is on the bottom floor, and directly above it is our main hall. So we currently do not program in both spaces at the same time, even though they're both wonderful spaces, because of a sound bleed. So we have an acoustician who has come in and given some recommendations to us, and we believe that for a reasonable amount of money, we can make some changes to the physical space that will allow us to program both upstairs and downstairs at the same time. And that's particularly important now because this year, from September 1st to June 1st, if we look at what percentage of time we have booked across the performance spaces for the year, it's 97%. And every week we are still getting inquiries for this year that we cannot meet. So doing this project will allow us to serve more of the community, to open up an additional spaces, get some additional potential theatrical lighting in the space that will diversify what we can do in there, and overall hopefully better serve all of Anne Arundel County and beyond. So with that, I will thank you for your time this evening and appreciate your consideration in this project going forward.
Thank you so much. So many arts projects are speaking to my heart. Delegate Henson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Ms. Coleman, for presenting on behalf of Maryland Hall. I wanted to make sure I understood the initial, the budget for the project. I know the senator mentioned that you all received some state funding in 2019, and then you mentioned in your presentation that your private contributions were at $3 million, which is very impressive. Is the $3 million inclusive of any state funds, or is that all private raised?
The $3 million that is raised is private. There was it was a little under $3 million that was private raised. There was about $1.3 million left in bond bills that Senator Mike Bush had generously helped us get long before I arrived here. And we are also looking at the potential expiration of those and realizing we want to take advantage of these, and we really want to make this work happen. And clearly we have the private support and the belief that it would help not only Maryland Hall, but our 4 resident companies, all of the partners and countless community members that come to the hall to host events there.
I appreciate that. I want to make sure I'm aligning the pieces properly. Are you saying that there's $3 million in private contributions plus an additional 1.3 from former Speaker Bush?
Yes.
does that get you to your goal of 4 million, or what's the delta left on the project?
Oh, the goal is actually anticipated to be just about 5 million, a little over 5 million. I'm estimating with the 1.3 and the 3, they're both a little bit less than that. So really on paper, what we have is just a little bit over 4 million. So we're looking at the additional 1 million that we're anticipating to need to complete the project.
Thank you for the clarity. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any further questions? Well, thank you so much. I'm going to turn it over once again to Madam Vice Chair to introduce Annapolis Maritime Museum before I start my marathon introductions.
Thank you so much. I'm going to intro the Maritime Museum Park. They have a pavilion, which for those of you who have not seen it, it is absolutely gorgeous. But the hard part about this is that we need retractable vinyl enclosures for the newly constructed pavilion facility, which has turned into, and we knew ahead of time, it would be a vital hub for daily outdoor environmental education programs, pre-K programs, summer camps, community events. And so I believe that Kelly is on the line with us, as well as I also see Alice Estrada, wonderful folks there at the Maritime Museum and Park. So thank you both for being here, and I'll turn it over to the two of you.
Oh, thank you very much. Again, I'm Alice Estrada, President and CEO. Joining me is Kelly Squirter, our Vice President of Development. Are we allowed to share a screen, or is that no? Okay, I can talk. Well, for those of you who are not familiar, we're the Maritime Museum, and our mission is to educate youth and adults about Annapolis's rich maritime heritage and the ecology of the Chesapeake Bay. This pavilion was built due, first and foremost, to accommodate our burgeoning and increasingly popular education programs over at the park. We completely renovated a waterworks building. This was built primarily, during and after the pandemic. The prices did escalate. I will point out that 90% of the funds for the pavilion were funded by private individuals. It was not your Rec and Park Pavilion. As Dana mentioned, it's really quite stunning, and it was meant to be a community place. Since a place, we will use it for venue rentals. Sustainability is very important to the Maritime Museum, as we don't receive any public, state, county, or city funding as a line item in the budget. So we do look for that to increase, but of course these enclosures will not only help us with that piece of it, but also be able to virtually use this pavilion year-round for our education programs as well, and community events. So is there any questions? It's hard to describe it without an image because it really is so stunning.
Well, Delegate Chair Bagnall.
Yes, Madam Vice Chair.
Are we able to share screen, or is that against the? I thought that was.
No, we are able to share screen.
We have the ability.
We have the ability.
You should be able to share your screen currently. Are you having issues seeing the share screen button?
No, I see it. I just didn't know if it was allowed.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Can you, I'll just show you. I'll just skip to the pictures of the, let's see, slideshow.
And while you're looking for the pictures, I know Delegate Henson had a question.
Okay. So again, here's some of the pavilion, the stunning fireplace. We're really happy to use it for obviously our education programs, but also community events. Delegate Henson joined us the other night for the wireless fundraiser, as well as some fall concert series, and of course private events as well. And then I wanted to just share the pie chart here of our diverse revenue streams.
Delegate Henson.
Madam Chair.
Your hand was up. Did you have a question or is your?
I did.
Go ahead.
Is it appropriate to ask now?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Alice, for the presentation. I'm sorry I didn't get an opportunity to speak with you about the capital needs for the Maritime Center there. You touched on it a little bit, but I wanted to clarify the types of events that are able to be had at the pavilion and the type of work that it'll be used for, that those awnings and other things would support. Could you share with us a little bit about what types of events you've had there and plan to have in the future?
Yes. Well, first of all, I will be honest with you. You know, we need the private event revenue to sustain it, and brides plan a year in advance. So we have not had a lot of private event activity there, primarily because, you know, they needed to physically see it. So why that's been light, I mean, we used it immediately for education programs. So we opened in June. Summer camps are in full throttle. We were actually able to add another whole camp this year and possibly 2 for next. But they do need to be under shelter for a thunderstorm. So that's why we kind of outgrew the building, because we have to put them inside. And so this, if it has the enclosures, will qualify as a safe spot during a thunderstorm. So other than that, we want to create community events. We want to do more family programming out there. We want to do movie night. We've done that with a local police department. We want to be able to do, you know, s'mores and stories. There's just so many things we can do with this space, and this is what we do so well. We believe that museums need to connect community. So you know, the list is endless. Really.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I would love to follow up and just talk offline about some of the uses in the past and uses for the future as well, because as you said, it is a really dynamic space, and those additions and features to it, I'm sure it will just broaden the scope of the types of projects you're able to partner with and support. Thanks so much, Alex. Thanks, Madam Chair.
Sure.
Thank you very much. Any further questions from the delegation?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for your presentation. It is now my honor to introduce VFW Post 160 and Marvis Mosteller. VFW Post 160 is in Hanover. And of course, we all know the good work of our VFW. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Mosteller to tell us about your project. Have we lost Marvis? I see you there.
How about
there we
now?
Go. Now we can hear you.
Okay. Can you see me?
We can see your name. Currently, we can't see you.
I just have to click the right buttons here.
There
Sorry.
you are. All right. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Chairperson, and to the senators and delegates here. Post 160 owes and our extended community are very thankful for our Senate and delegate support so far, and they led us to the grant process and got us started on this. We would not be on the path to making these critical post updates without your support. The resulting repairs and replacements will help us for years as we continue to support our surrounding community and the veterans that are near and dear to everyone, right? There is much left to realize on our goal of creating a self-sustaining post with a reliable and affordable facility maintenance profile. Our previous grant from 2021 got us started on what we like to refer to as the first phase of work, targeting key repairs, stuff that's just absolutely had to be done to the structure and improve working, business, and guest conditions at the post. We need to finish that phase, and then we need to move into some progress on another phase, which we call sort of the second phase. That's why we're requesting another $500,000. We need these funds to pay balances created under the first phase. We have a balance due on part of that, and to continue and execute work that we already planned out during that phase. We understand physical realities are tough this time of year and may limit what's available. But I do want to use this opportunity to document our vision and should any other funding become available, perhaps we can turn to other directions to find it. We do conduct fundraisers. We do look to our national VFW for support. We look to the state VFW and other sources, but a lot of those sources are very stressed, just like we are. I've put most of the details in our LBI as to some of the things we're looking for, but in general, what we really need to do is to, and I wanted to stress back to the phrase I used before, a reliable and affordable facility maintenance profile. We're on an old septic system. We have an old bathroom. We have old facilities that just need repair. And that is no longer really what might have even been considered cheap, but it's really not cheap anymore after COVID has stressed the system so much. So as far as that goes, that's all I'm going to say. I would love to entertain any questions. Again, our Senator Beidel and Delegates Chang and Rogers have been extremely helpful getting us this far. We just have a lot more to do and hope the state can help us get it there.
Thank you very much. Any questions from the delegation? Thank you very much. And just to all of our members, any of the presentation material that we have, we'll make sure that the full delegation has access to. If you don't currently have it, we had a lot of requests that came in over the weekend, which is why some of these are being introduced by myself. But it is not a reflection on the value and quality of the presentations. It's just logistics. So thank you very much for being here.
You're welcome, and thank you for the opportunity.
We're going to turn now to Elks Camp Barrett. The delegation will be familiar with Elks Camp Barrett in Crownsville. They serve a multitude of communities and a multitude of income levels. And Mr. Charles Spadoni is here. Spadone, I always did get that wrong. Is here to talk about Elks Camp Barrett and what you're looking for.
Thank you, Delegate Bagnell. Can you hear me? Okay, good. Well, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to address you on behalf of the camp. And it's been an Anne Arundel County treasure since 1959, serving the needs of our youth. Camp is available to children ages 9 to 13, not only for Anne Arundel County, but all counties in the state of Maryland, Delaware, and Washington, D.C. Of particular notice that we have served Anne Arundel, Prince George's, Baltimore City, Baltimore County, Montgomery, Queen Anne's, Kent, Talbot, Wycomico, and Worcester counties. All Maryland counties are also eligible. We provide a quality camp experience for underprivileged youth for $175. Outside of camping season, we serve a diverse population of children, families, and 50 plus other nonprofits and beneficial organizations, including financially disadvantaged and food insecure children, medically challenged children and adults, veteran affiliated programs, first responder training, scout troops, and regional drug awareness and recovery programs. 85% of the camp is funded predominantly by private donations through 33 Elks Lodges from districts across our association. Additionally, a significant portion of our program operations and maintenance is performed by volunteers, which keeps operating expenses down. We are requesting $135,000 for the purpose of modernizing our electrical and plumbing systems, as well as to correct a structural issue with our main dining hall. During the prior 2 years before COVID, the Elks invested significantly in long-term repair and replacement for some of the camp facilities and equipment. More is being requested through this process because COVID really knocked us down like a lot of other people, and we need some things to supplement our operations. We lost, for 2+ years, we lost virtually all of our income from the Elks Lodges and from other sources that we traditionally got the monies from. Revenues have not fully returned from COVID due to some people still being afraid to let their children come out into the environment. Our objective is to replace the lost funding to directly fulfill our core mission of serving thousands of children, families, and beneficial organizations for whom these programs would not be available otherwise. Of note is the current state of execution of grants for
Mr. Spadone, are you still there?
earlier in our execution. I'll get that done. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, you froze for a moment. If you could just like your last two, we missed your last couple of sentences.
Okay. Basically, I was saying that you'll note that I have not fully executed the 2021 grant. I wanted to assure you that I'm on top of that. I'm new to the campus executive committee. I have a significant amount of experience executing grants under this program in other venues. I've helped my Elks Lodge and other Elks Lodges to access the program, and I've helped the Lions Camp in Charles County, and I have references I can provide if you need them. We've executed the programs that we asked for by getting a loan, and we will get the grant paperwork executed and pay back that loan as soon as we get the money from the state. So my apologies for what my predecessor was not able to accomplish, but I assure you I will take care of that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Spadone.
Thank you. Do you have any questions for me?
Any questions from the delegation? Well, thank you very much for your presentation, for being here. I'm going to go ahead and turn over to the Bowie Elks, which for our members, Bowie Elks are actually in Crofton, so don't be confused by the name. They are in fact in Anne Arundel County, and they also have had some challenges due to COVID. So I think we have Allison Rose, and Allison, if you can introduce the other folks with you and your project. Thank you.
Yes, thank you to the chair. Can you hear me okay? Yes, thank you to the chair, the vice chair, and all the delegates who are in attendance tonight. We really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you. My name is Allison Rose. I'm the chair of our veteran committee, and I have my current exalted ruler, Charles Currier, and our previous exalted ruler, who's also a trustee on our board of directors, Matthew Briggs, here with me. Obviously, you just heard from Camp Barrett, so you know the work that the Elks has been involved with. Throughout the years. We are the Bowie Elks located in Crofton with a Gambrel's address and have been here for 64 years. It's kind of like our best kept secret since we're somewhat hard to locate. But COVID, I guess, obviously has hit everyone hard, as we've heard previously. We have a very old building, given that we have been here for 64 years. And there are just structural and infrastructure repairs and things that have been ongoing as a result of that. Since COVID, however, we have a little bit of momentum behind us. Our membership growth has raised by 32% over the last 2 years. We have recruited a lot of engaged members who are active partners in our community through veterans, educators, fire, police and fire, amongst others. And we are seeing our volume increase in our banquet hall for its utilization and its usage. Just in the last year, our banquet hall has been donated 30 times to youth organizations. A lot of it having to do with Crofton High School, who is also opened its doors during the pandemic. We have partnered with their arts departments, music theater, as well as their athletic departments. We have the Young Marines coming in to use our facilities. But we've even seen participation with our recent Community Fall Festival double in size from participation over the previous year. We had 32 high school student volunteers who came in and partnered with us as well to put this on for the community. And then 2 weeks ago, we hosted a veterans dinner, which Delegate Stu Schmidt was in attendance, as well as Don Giles, Chief of Staff, to see the 35 veterans that came together from our community with over 100 in attendance to honor them. So we have a lot of momentum behind us. However, the building is old. Our roof is at least 50 years old. We've, I guess, developed additional sources of revenue that we're trying to get up and going with offering food service, I think, within the last 6 months. We've also implemented a bingo within the last month to try to generate some revenue. But the roof is actively leaking in the banquet hall and over our kitchen. And so As we try to, in addition to that, the building has other structural repairs we know we need to do coming up. So that is why we are bringing this project to you. The quote we initially got 3 years ago has already increased in price by 20%. So the repairs and the patchwork that we've been trying to take on, I guess, is just not quite doing it any longer. So we appreciate I guess I'll open to any questions, or you want to add anything.
Okay.
I apologize if I talk fast. I'm from upstate New York, and so, but if there's any questions.
Yeah, we appreciate you talking fast because we like a tight meeting too. But do we have any questions from the members? Well, thank you very much. Thank you for your presentation. I'm going to go ahead and turn to Gardenzia. So we're going from Crofton to Crownsville. Christy Blaylock is here to talk about the good work that they do over at Gardenzia and what you're looking for.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, everyone. My name is Christy Blaylock. I'm the Executive Director for Gardenzia. We are one of the state's largest substance use disorder treatment providers. We have 6 locations in Maryland. Our largest location is actually in Crownsville on the now Crownsville Memorial Park grounds. Our initial lease was signed with the state in 2014, and we opened our doors in 2016, at which time we did request LBI assistance of $190,000 to help with renovations. As you can imagine, those buildings, those of us on the grounds know how much work goes into putting those buildings together and keeping them upkeep. So it's a lot of money, it's a lot of resources needed. So that was in 2016. We are now we opened up with 35 beds. We now are a 175 bed licensed facility, providing all levels of substance use treatment care, including crisis stabilization, harm reduction, and the state's care coordination grant. So we are averaging 3,400 people a year at that site alone. And since 2016 through 2023, we have self-funded about $2.6 million in renovations for the maintenance and upkeep of that building. So with this LBI request, since it's been quite some time, we are now requesting assistance for a much needed roof repair and or completely reinstall. It was done several years ago, but it was a really shoddy job. And unfortunately, we are not able to repair it. It has to be lifted and the whole roof redone again. As well as upgrading our camera system and our intercom system throughout the facility to ensure safety and security. It's a 44,000 square foot site, so it's large, 3 floors. So really having those internal safety measures of cameras and intercom systems really is beneficial for those we serve, as well as the 150 staff that work in that facility. So I'm open to any questions. We did just sign our 35-year lease last month, so we're around to stay for a while, and now it's time to really put some more much needed love and care into those buildings and get them ready for the next chapter of Crownsville.
Thank you very much, and I'm sorry to hear about the challenges with the roof. Delegate Rogers, I saw you came off mute. Did you have a question? No. Just hitting the button. Any questions from the delegation? Well, thank you so much for being here, for the good work that you do. And we're going to continue in this vein with resources at Crownsville that serve our recovery and mental health community. And Delegate Rogers, if you would introduce Pasco Crisis Stabilization Center.
It would be my honor. And that's why I came off mute, just trying to be
realized that as soon as I said it, I realized that's why.
Yeah, no, but it gives me great honor to introduce Catherine Bonacantry with the Pasco Crisis Stabilization Center. I had a chance to visit that center on a number of occasions and personally witnessed the great work that they're doing out there. And as Delegate Bagnall, Chair Bagnall knows that, with the shortage of mental health space and beds in the county, they're doing remarkable work. And so with that, I'm just going to turn it over to Ms. Bonacantry.
Thank you very much.
And by the way, I'm not Bruce Bariano, so let's not get that twisted.
I appreciate that so very much. And thank you for that wonderful introduction, Delegate Rogers. I cannot thank you enough. I also appreciate all of the delegation, and so many of you have been able to come and tour our facility and see how far we've been able to come since we opened our doors. The county graciously awarded us that building in 2019, and we have been operating ever since. This specific LBI is for something that really matters. This past year, we were fortunate enough to be awarded a certificate of need so that we can thankfully open 20 detox beds. Like many others on the Crownsville campus, we every day fight to see everyone improve their lives through mental health and substance use treatment. It is a great honor for us to be able to do this, but I will tell you, it is on the second floor of our fabulous Winter Road building, and it needs an elevator. And we've talked about this a couple of times, but this is now at critical mass since we were awarded the CON. We are in a position where we'll be opening those beds, and people will not be sometimes in the sort of capacity to have accessibility extend to the second floor where they need these vital detox beds. So I humbly ask for your support so that we can finally have that very, very important elevator installed in this wonderful rehabbed building that is going to serve many more community members into the future. And thank you.
Thank you very much, and for the good work that you do. Do we have any questions from the delegation? Well, thank you for being here tonight and for all your good work. We're now going to turn to West Arundel Swim Club, which is a not-for-profit organization located in Maryland City. In the Maryland City community with over 250 family memberships servicing more than 1,500 members per year. And welcome, John Vennett. And if you can tell us about your project. Mr. Vennett, if you can come off mute.
I'm off mute.
Perfect.
Thank you very much. I'm going to share a screen. Okay, and I'm going to talk about the West Arundel Swim Club. And that's, let me see what screen I'm sharing. Here we go. And did it come up and share? The West Arundel Swim Club, located in Maryland City, has 250 members, and we service approximately 1,500 people per year. We are an outdoor pool. And what we're looking at doing is the swim club was opened in 1964 as a part of the Maryland City community. And it became the West Arundel Swim Club when the Maryland City community went bankrupt. We are not ADA compliant, and we're looking at installing a family changing room and an ADA compliant restroom for our members and our guests. Basically, we're trying to become ADA compliant. We installed 2 years ago a ADA compliant lift, which actually helps our senior members get in and out of the pool. One thing we're actually doing is we are seeking a grant from USA Swimming. And what we're planning on doing is we're going to bring in free swimming lessons for any of the kids in the local area that are basically on free and reduced lunch. So we have a plan to actually bring them in, have a group come in and teach them swimming lessons, but that's not what we're asking for. We're asking for the assistance from the delegation to get our building up to specs for ADA compliancy. And we're also looking at installing a new fence for safety, not only for the people in the facility, but also the people outside the facility. The last part of our project would be a new LED sign at the front of the property, which would allow people to recognize the swim club, which is on Old Line. There's a couple ADA there's a couple LED signs throughout the community, but none directly on Old Line Avenue, which is the main road in the Maryland City community. Basically, we're looking for $162,500 to actually do the renovation project. And I am here to answer any questions if anyone has any questions.
Let me open it up for questions from the delegation. Make sure I'm not missing anyone. Well, thank you very much for your presentation. It looks like you've answered all our questions.
And thank you very much for the opportunity, and thank you for the delegation for what you guys actually do for the communities.
Thank you. And to our folks who are here, who are remaining, thank you for your patience and for being here. We've got a few more presentations, so we're going to quickly move to the Annapolis Skate Park. David.
There's a ways to go to get to what is the standard of the day. And not long after the upgrade in 2014, tragically, one of the local skaters that spent a lot of time at the park was lost to an overdose. His family really, to honor him, has done a tremendous job of fundraising and has raised over $75,000 that they'd like to contribute to the redevelopment of the Truxton Skate Park. To date, we have close to $250,000 from the city as part of the Truxton Redevelopment Fund, the $75,000 from the family, and we're looking for $50,000 to get us to our total projected budget of $375,000 to redevelop the skate park. And that's what we have.
Thank you so much. And I was remiss in recognizing Chair Dana Jones, who wanted to speak on this project as well.
I just want thank you so much, Chairwoman Bagnall. I just wanted to say thank you to Dave for being here. We have worked with our constituents who have turned great unspeakable loss and grief into giving back to the community and remembering their son through this devastating loss. And Dave, as well as many others, along with the city, have just truly been a blessing. And I'm so happy to continue this work to help not only our community and the city and all those who want to use the park, but also to remember this young man who lost his life in an overdose. So thank you so much, Dave, for being here. And thank you so much for all of the work that you are doing for the family and our community. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I would just like to add on that the city of Annapolis, the mayor, everyone at his office has been a tremendous partner on this and have been really pushing for this for a long time. So a big thanks to the city in addition to Delegate Jones to help with this project. This is a really important one to us in our community, and really appreciate the support and help.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Did we have any other questions from the delegation? All right, I'm now going to turn it over to our Anne Arundel County Public School System. We have Grace Wilson and Kyle Roof, who are going to talk all about the projects that we're looking to do here for the county and for our schools and our youth.
Let me know when you can see the screen.
We can see it. You're ready. You're good to go.
All right, good evening. I'm Kyle Roof, Director of Facilities for Anne Arundel County Public Schools. We have 3 projects to present tonight. The first project is Chesapeake High School Fieldhouse construction. Our request is for $4 million. This will allow us to start construction on the project. That is 75% in design right now. This would be a 2-story fieldhouse project similar to one at North County High School. The second project is Arundel High School Fieldhouse construction. This is for both design and construction. It would be a 1-story fieldhouse similar to Glen Burnie and Broadneck High School. Design is estimated at $300,000 with utilities at another $300,000 and then construction around $3 million. The final project is actually 4 separate projects combined into one. For Broadneck High School, Chesapeake High School, Glen Burnie High School, and South River High School, baseball and softball lighting. This project will allow for extended use of the baseball and softball fields at those complexes. It's particularly helpful for students and our athletes at the beginning of the season, spring season in late March, early April. And the cost estimates shown on the screen include connection to utilities. I'd like to thank you all for your continued support to AACPS.
Well, thank you very much for all you do. And do we have any questions from our delegation? Seeing none, thank you so much for being here tonight. And we're going to turn to our final presentation of the evening, which does not mean it is by any stretch the least impactful. It's our Anne Arundel County Fairgrounds, whom we love, and John Faber. So thank you and welcome to the delegation, and thank you for your patience, and tell us about what you're looking to do.
Yes. Good evening. Thank you for the introduction, Madam Chairwoman Bagnall, and appreciate the rest of the delegation for taking the time this evening to not only listen to myself, but the other great organizations in Anne Arundel County. I'm a bit humbled listening to these other organizations and the great things they're doing in the county. I'm John Faber, President of Anne Arundel County Fairgrounds. Our property, we are an entire volunteer organization, 501c3. Currently, we sit on property owned by the state of Maryland, managed by the Department of Natural Resources. There is 3 acres out front that's owned by the county. We are looking to submit a request to have our lower stage rebuilt, completely redone, and also a climate control building. The lower stage, we recently put a new deck on, but during that process, we found out that the lower stage has some structural issues, and with that, the entire thing needs to be replaced. We typically have requests to rent that stage, and it falls short of the needs for those rental requests. So we're looking to build something just slightly bigger, slightly more in tune to what's needed in the community. The building that we're looking to do a feasibility study on, this is just for a feasibility study and a design. It's a climate control building, multi-purpose climate control building on the fairgrounds. This is needed so we can have year-round rentals at the fairgrounds. And with that being said, the county Office of Emergency Management has also reached out to us to see if we can have some kind of building or structure on the fairgrounds in case there's an emergency, weather-wise or anything else that folks can muster to if they need to. So this building, if we move forward, will serve as that also, a building for folks to get out of the emergency situation. So that's just a feasibility study. If everything looks good with that feasibility study and we get the LBI initiative for $100,000 after the feasibility study, we'll as an asterisk, we'll probably approach the delegation again next year and see if we can get the building built. Any questions?
Thank you very much, Mr. Faber. Any questions from the delegation? Seeing none, thank you for hanging in there till the end. And thank you to the entire delegation for being here tonight. I know it's a big ask, it's a long night, and we really appreciate you being here for all of our organizations. Obviously, we have a lot of really great organizations doing really great work in our county, and we're going to be challenged to figure out how best to support them, recognizing the fiscal landscape that we are going into. As I mentioned before, all of the presentations will be made available to the delegation. You should have them in your email, but we'll make sure that that we send them out again to make sure that everyone has what you need. We will be holding another legislative priorities meeting on January the 5th during the day. And we will send out those details. We're finalizing those for any organizations that didn't have an opportunity to present tonight. So make sure if you have organizations that have a request, make sure that you are connecting with them, getting the information to the delegation and to Roger so that we can get them on the schedule as well. Any questions from the delegation? Final comments? Once again, thank you very much for the honor of continuing to lead this esteemed body. And with that, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. Thank you, everyone. We are adjourned.